The balance of the global economy is changing, quietly, but rapidly. For decades, the world economy was dominated by a handful of powerful countries: the United States, Western Europe, Japan. But now, a new wave of economies is rising, and they are reshaping global power. This is what nobody is talking about, because while headlines focus on crises in major economies, emerging markets are building momentum underneath the surface. Factories are moving, capital is flowing, trade routes are shifting, technology is spreading, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why emerging markets are rising, what is driving this transformation, and which countries may dominate the next era of the global economy. But first, we need to understand something important. The global economy is entering a transition period, and transitions create winners. This is where everything begins. For decades, globalization concentrated manufacturing and capital in a few regions. China became the factory of the world. The US dominated finance. Europe controlled industrial exports. But over time, the system became fragile. Supply chains became too concentrated. Costs started rising. Geopolitical tensions increased. This forced companies and governments to rethink global strategy. This is where emerging markets enter the story. Because when systems shift, new opportunities appear. The first driver: demographics. Many developed economies are aging. Populations are slowing. Workforces are shrinking. Economic growth becomes harder. But many emerging markets are different. They still have young populations, growing labor forces, rising consumption, expanding middle classes. This matters enormously, because demographics shape economic potential. A younger population means more workers, more consumers, more entrepreneurs, more economic activity. This is one reason countries like India are rising so quickly. India has one of the world's largest young populations, and that creates long-term growth potential. Now combine this with another major shift. The second driver: supply chain diversification. The global economy used to prioritize efficiency above everything else. Companies concentrated production where costs were lowest. For years, that meant China. But then something changed. Trade wars, pandemics, geopolitical tensions, shipping disruptions. Suddenly, the risks of concentration became obvious. This is where emerging markets gained opportunity. Companies started moving production to Vietnam, India, Mexico, Indonesia. This process is called China Plus One, not replacing China completely, but reducing dependence. This is how supply chains slowly reshape economies. Factories move, jobs move, capital moves, infrastructure expands, and emerging markets grow stronger. This is what most people miss. Global economic shifts often happen quietly, before headlines catch up. Now let's talk about another major factor: technology. Technology is spreading faster than ever before. Emerging markets no longer need decades to build traditional systems first. Many are leapfrogging directly into digital payments, mobile banking, e-commerce, AI systems, fintech. This is where things become powerful, because technology increases productivity rapidly. Look at India's digital payment revolution. Millions of people entered the digital economy at massive scale. This accelerates growth. Now imagine this happening across multiple emerging markets at once. This is why investors are paying attention. Now let's move to another driver: resources. Emerging markets often control critical resources: oil, copper, lithium, food exports, rare earth minerals. And as the world changes, these resources become more strategic. This is especially true during energy transitions, AI expansion, industrial growth, population increases. This is why countries like Brazil, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Chile, UAE are becoming increasingly important economically. This is where geopolitics and economics merge again, because the countries controlling resources gain leverage. Now here's where things get really interesting. Emerging markets aren't all the same. Some dominate manufacturing. Some dominate energy. Some dominate technology adoption. Some dominate logistics. This means the future global economy may become more distributed, not centered around only one region. This is a major shift. Now let's talk about another critical factor: the rise of regional economic blocs. Countries are increasingly trading with nearby partners. Regional alliances are growing stronger. This reduces dependence on distant systems, and it benefits strategically positioned emerging markets. Mexico benefits from U.S. proximity. Vietnam benefits from Asian trade routes. The UAE benefits from global shipping connections. This is how geography becomes economic advantage. Now layer in another trend: the weakness of some developed economies. Many advanced economies face major challenges: high debt, aging populations, slow growth, political division, rising costs. This creates openings for faster-growing emerging markets. Now here's the twist: emerging markets are still risky. Currencies can fluctuate. Political instability exists in some regions. Infrastructure gaps remain. This is why not every emerging market succeeds equally. The winners will likely be countries that combine stability, infrastructure, technology, strategic positioning, young populations. This is where the future competition really begins. Now imagine the next 20 years. India expands manufacturing. Vietnam grows exports. Indonesia benefits from critical minerals. Brazil dominates food exports. The UAE becomes a major financial hub. This is not just growth, it is a redistribution of global economic power. And this changes investment flows, trade patterns, and geopolitical influence. This is why emerging markets matter so much. They are not just developing countries. Some may become the next major economic powers. This is what makes the current moment so important. The world economy is being rebalanced in real time, quietly, gradually, but powerfully. Now ask yourself this: which countries are preparing for the future economy, and which are still relying on old systems? Because the countries adapting fastest may dominate the next era of global growth. If you want to understand how power is shifting globally, watch my video on the countries quietly winning the global economy next. If you want to understand the hidden systems behind this transformation, watch who really controls the global economy. Because the future global economy is already being built. Subscribe to Atlas Economics, because those who understand the system will always stay ahead.